G'day folks, well this is the Crazy Unicorn Saturn puzzle, and in my opinion this is the hardest of the lot. Definitely the most challenging and provides, I have to say, it's probably my favourite of them now as well. It didn't used to be because it was causing me pain, but having worked through all that, I'm really happy with it. It's a great solve. So being a Saturn cube, it has the yellow face and the white face as zero faces, so those centre parts stay fixed when you turn the face. All of the other faces are one faces, so those centre parts move. So that's the Saturn part of it. Being a unicorn cube, you can see eventually there's going to be a turnable corner on 4 of the corners. Not now. Now the reason that this is so difficult, and it's almost like there's one particular section of this solve which is, you could class it as the solve. Because if you can't get past that section, you can't really go on. But once you do, you know what to do from there and you can actually solve it. Not without pain, but with knowing what you're doing. And that section is reducing the last 3 edge bases. So this is kind of reduced the same way that we would reduce a Jupiter cube. The problem is that when we go to reduce a Jupiter, for example, I might look at that blue and turn it around onto an appropriate blue piece there. With the Saturn, I can't necessarily do that because I have to reduce them in place, because I cannot flip reduced edges in place. Now, what I mean by that is, if we look at this edge, for example, if I was on a Rubik's Cube and let's say that that blue-white had a blue piece there and a white piece there, so that part there was completely reduced. To flip it, to get the white up here and the blue down here, which is what I'm talking about, reduced in place, firstly what I would do would be a down, down, up, up. Now that movement has not affected any of the circle parts. Next, what I would do would be to turn the upper face, but as soon as I do that, you see it leaves the circle parts there. So I turn that upper face across, bring that up, undo, and look, that part there, which was on it, is now not. So I can flip an outer edge base, I just can't flip it complete with its circle parts. Well, that was the problem until I found a way to do it. So that is why Saturn is so difficult to manage to do that. I'm really happy with this method now, and I like the cube. Thoroughly recommend it. I say this on all of them, but you know, this puzzle alone is worth the price of admission for the Crazy Unicorn cube. So just a phenomenal puzzle the more I play with it. So this is made from a Crazy Unicorn, if you're wondering. Had a spare sticker. And all we've done is change centers. Very, very simple to do, quick and easy. Okay, now, to begin with, what I'm going to do is start reducing edges, and I'm going to reduce the white ones and I'll reduce them in place. So in other words, the white blue will go here correctly. Now you can see that the white center will not turn, so that one is oriented correctly. I also need to just check that if I'm going to start with the white blue, that's oriented correctly as well. Now the way we've got to do this is we've got to get an appropriate white circle piece that goes here. And just looking at the difference between these pieces, there's a couple of pieces. That one, the longest part is the curved part. That one, the longest part is the straight part. The one where the straight part is the longest part of the piece is the correct one for here. So if I was trying to place this into here, I would first turn it and just say, well, it's the correct piece type. Is it the correct position? No. Okay, so I don't know why I'm starting with white blue, but I will, now that I've done it. I've got another one here. If I turn this one around, I can see that that goes directly into position. So that's the first thing that I want to do, is get one of those pieces there. Now, the next thing I say, well, look what's happened with the orientation of that blue face. That should be like that because it's got to point to the same corner. So instead of just turning it down like that, what I'll have to do is 3-cycle the piece down into here. So turn it off, put its position up, undo, undo. And that ensures that the orientation is correct. Now, after that's done, I then go searching for the white-blue outer edge and pair it with a blue piece that goes there. So, let's have a look. The white-blue is here. And now, in order to pair it with a blue piece, I've got to use this face to turn that blue around. And you might say, well, that's one, but you'll see that because it's the wrong piece type, that's not the one that's going to work. Let's have a look if there's another one that I can use. There's one here, but it's going to be in the wrong position. There is one that's sitting there which I might need to use, but I'd be surprised if I had to use that at this point in time. Here's the one that I want, and what I can do now is turn that up to the top face, put the blue-white edge on, and return. Now, in order to place this in its correct position, I then need to have the white on top. Now, being the first one, this is actually really simple to do. Normally, I'm going to have to do down, down, up, ups to flip it over and things like that. So, that's ready. I now turn that white piece to the top. I turn the white-blue edge with the blue part onto position and then return it. And you can see that edge has now been reduced and it's correctly oriented. The reason that it's correctly oriented is because I've reduced it in place. I need to do that for the other 3 white edges. So there's an appropriate piece here. Let's see where that goes. Well, that doesn't go there, so it must be this one. So I'll turn that around to the green face. And then I'm able to turn it down like that. Again, check the orientation. That actually looks good, so that is correct. So now I need to find the white-red base and pair it with a red circle piece. There's the white-red base. In order to pair it with a good red piece, I need to up the top and then turn it off like that. Now you can see there's actually a corresponding piece opposite here. So I can now turn that around and that's paired. Now, in order to get the white on top, what I can do is down, down, up, up. And that flips that piece over. And I will say here, it's important not to confuse that flipping with what I was talking about at the start. At the start, I was talking about flipping it in place. So the white-red was back here. Now, I can do that now because I haven't attached it to the white piece. But you can see that if I wanted to keep it on the white piece, I could not do that. In any event, the white-red's ready. I can now bring its white piece up, attach it, not destroy the cube, and return it. That one's done. Let's find another piece. All 3 of those are not good. That one is a good one. Let's see where that goes. I think it's going to be onto a piece like this. Yeah, we can do that. Now, again, I'll check what's the orientation. Okay, that's correctly oriented, so I'll have to 3-cycle it down again. That's now in position. Search for the white-orange. There it is. Put the orange on top. Now attach it. There's a piece sitting there which I think will do the job. Attach it to that. Flip it over. And now bring the white piece up. Attach the white-orange and put it down. And this is really quite quick once you realize what you're doing. It's not a particularly difficult process, this first part of it. We've got one more white piece to place there. Need to locate it. It's there. So to get it around to here, I'm going to turn it up to that top layer. Now you'll notice that's come out, so I've got to turn it off and put this back. Okay, now I can, in order to keep that green face oriented, I think I'll turn that one more, then put it on, then undo and undo to get that one back. Okay, the white piece is in, the green face is oriented correctly. I now search for the white-green base, which is there, put the green on top. And do I have a piece? I do. That's actually pretty annoying that I have a piece there, but trust me, I mean, it's not annoying for me. It's annoying that every single one of these has been sitting up there. With the other bases, it will not be that simple. Okay, that's attached. Let's flip it over. And now turn it up, put it on, return. And you can see that what we've done now is really like making the white cross. So those first 4 white or edge bases have been completed. What I'm going to do next is do 3 of the middle layer bases. So for example, the orange-blue. I'm going to leave the 4th one, and for me that 4th one is yellow, blue, red, and I would suggest that you have the same 4th one that you leave all the time so that you get the colours in your head. So I won't do that one. I will do the others. So I've got, let's start with red-green. What you can see here is a good one to begin with, because I need to firstly have either this red piece or the green piece in position, just the same as I firstly had the white piece in position down here. So that red is in position. I now need to make a red-green base and attach it to a green circle piece. Let's find the red-green base. There it is. It's green on top, and look at that, I'm making a liar of myself. I can attach it to that circle piece. What I want to do now is flip it over. So I can now swing it around like that. And I just sort of need to think, well, how is this going to place? Because I've got the red piece there, I want the red on top. And if I turn it off, put its position up, it will then turn back on to that position. And then I undo, that's now in place. What about the green orange? I don't have the green or the orange in here, so I need to get it in there somehow. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's find. Now there's a green piece there which will turn down into that position. So I will firstly just do it down, down, up, up. So I've got a piece there. I now want to get green orange base paired with an orange piece. So the green orange base is here. I need to pair it with an orange, so I'm going to have to flip it over so the orange is on top, like that. Now that's not the right kind of piece. I need to find one that is. That potentially, what I can do, in order to pair this orange, I need an appropriate orange piece up the top. So I'm going to have to flip this over. And notice that I'm using the blue-red to do that because I haven't completed that yet. Okay, that is the right orange piece, so I can turn it on. And now, to get the green on top, I flip it back. The reason that I want green on top is because I had placed the green piece there already. So once again, I can turn that up, put the reduced edge on, and turn it into position. So that's that one and that one. Let's now do the orange-blue. Now, again, we have an orange piece here, so we'll take that, and we're now searching for the orange-blue base with a blue circle piece. There's the orange-blue base. I can't really believe this. I've got another circle. I might even ignore that. Can I ignore that and pretend I don't have that? I might ignore that because I think it's going to be this piece here, which would also work. And what would you do if you had those two attached together? Well, I can't turn this like that. What I can do is, I can turn it like that, but it won't separate them. I can initially flip that piece over. The reason that works is because then I can turn the orange-blue base off and it leaves that piece there. Now, in order to get the orange-blue attached to the blue again, I'm going to flip this one over. So there's my blue piece. That is the blue piece that I just separated it from. So let's say that I need to attach these two. Now that I've done that, I can turn that off, put the blue piece up, and put it on undo. So that is, I'm glad I did that, just a little bit of variety of stuff that can happen. I do now have the orange-blue done, and I've got the orange in position, so I want to turn that up to the top. So the orange is there. Just checking that the other stuff that I've done is still good, which it is. Okay, and again, I'll turn that off, put its position up, put it on, turn it down. So that's 3 of these middle layer edges done. Now, the reason that I'm leaving the 4th is kind of like a Rubik's Cube. I now want to do the back 2, the yellow-orange and the yellow-green. And I'm going to do that quite similarly, except that I've only got one middle layer position to play with here when I'm doing it. So the first thing, let's take the yellow-orange. I really need to get a little yellow piece sitting here. Now, I can see one there, but I can't just turn it round. So what I have to do instead is turn this position down to the blue face, and then 3 cycle that yellow piece to that position. Like that. When I return that, that yellow has gone where it needs to be. So that's the first little step. You can see every single one of these, I'm placing one of the circle pieces, and then I'm going to make the yellow orange attached to an orange. Well, here's the yellow orange. I need to attach that to an appropriate orange piece. I can see that there's one here that if I turn that up, I can then put the orange yellow on, turn it back down, and return. And I probably always do 4 turns now. Okay, so final bit to put this into place is I can see that if it was up there, that's matching nicely. So what I want to do is turn its position around, put it onto its position, undo, undo. Okay, so that is the yellow orange placed. Getting to the harder bit now, I'm about to get to the last 3, which is definitely the hardest bit of the whole solve. Now I'm going to do the yellow green. And again, I need to have a yellow piece placed in that position before I start. Well, there's a couple here, so probably one of them will do the job. I also know that this one will do the job, but which is easy to get there? Probably, actually don't know. I might. This one here, I mean, I can turn it up like that, but it's not going to turn around to where I need it. So that's not going to help too much. I think I actually need to flip these 2 here to put them in the other positions. Having a think, because if I try and move the position down and turn this onto it, it goes to the top, not the bottom. That's where my thinking is. So I reckon I'm going to need to flip this around somehow. Let's just see first of all, I'll turn it like that and now flip this over to there. Not 100% convinced that'll work yet. Now I do need to turn the yellow orange back. Let's see what's happened. Oh, look, that has worked nicely, because what I can do now is turn the position down, goes to the bottom. I turn that onto it, undo, undo. Now, the yellow piece is in the position where I want it. You'll also notice that the red-green has temporarily come out. So that's not a big deal. I can put that back by just turning it over here and remembering that it's got to go to that position. So I'll just do it down, down, up, up, and then undo the setup. That's back in business. Now I've got to do the yellow-green base attached to a green piece. So that means I need the green on top, which it is. I need to find an appropriate green piece. There is one there, which is the right one. That may be the only one. In fact, it is, because you can see on the green face, all of the other 3 are used. So I've got to do what I did before and get these 2 things apart. So I think the first thing, flip it over so that I can pull this off like that. Now, what have I damaged, if anything? Just the yellow orange. So what I need to do now is, I don't think I will flip it over because I've got to turn it back. I think I'll just put it down into the middle temporarily. Now turn that yellow orange back, so that's good. That yellow piece is still there. Now the green has to attach to this one somehow. I've got to think, how do I get it to that? I think I will again. Now I'll move this up to here where I really wanted it. That's really nice, because now that green is ready to come and attach to that piece. So I'll attach it, use this as my 3rd piece, undo, undo. Okay, good. So the green yellow is now attached to the green. I've now got to flip that over. And that is ready to attach to this piece. So the easiest way here is probably to use this piece to go up here and push this yellow-green out of the way, move its position, which is this piece here, around, bring it back, and bring it back. You can see that that yellow-green, as well as the yellow-orange, has now been placed into position. All the other stuff, I don't think we've touched it. So that is all good. That is the end of the first main stage of the solve, which is these first 9 edge bases reduced. We now move on to the hardest part of the solve, and let me outline the approach that I'm going to use here. And I should say that I spent so long just going around in circles with this. I would reduce edges, like I'd say, oh, I better get that red onto a red. I'd get them all reduced, and I simply could not get them into the position that I needed them to be in. Occasionally it would fluke, but I'm not happy with flukes. I am happy with what we're about to do. So what I need to do first is get the two yellow pieces into the correct positions. Now you can see that that yellow circle piece there belongs around there, but I can't turn it, but that's where it belongs. I've got this one here, which belongs there. Now what I'm going to do is use a technique which is essentially, it's just a three cycle, 4 moves, and I'm going to move pieces around this sort of region. Now what I need to do in order to place them, if you think about this piece here, in order to go to there, it needs to be down here. So I've got to find a way to get it down here. Similarly, this piece, in order to place to there, needs to be either here or here. So this is actually in a good position already. It's this one that's my problem. So what I'll do initially, because I really want to get this one over to here. So initially I'm going to probably turn it down to this position and 3 cycle it. Let's have a look. If I 3 cycle, I don't really want to involve that one if I can help it, but I might not be able to avoid it, because I do need to get this off that face, and it's only going to come onto this face somehow. So look, let's get it down to here. I'll 3 cycle the yellow to the blue to the yellow first of all. And the way I can do that is just simply a down, down, up, up. Okay. Now, I eventually want that one back here, but this one I need in this position here. How am I going to do that? Well, the first thing is that I'll cycle it across to here. And I can do that by turning the upper face and putting it onto that position, undo, undo. So that's not in a bad position. The next thing I will do, because I may need to put it across there, we'll see in a minute, because I need this around to there. So what I'm going to do is turn the upper face. We just think of the 3 cycle is going to be here to here to here. So I'm going to turn the upper face first. I'm then going to put the position that I want up to there. Undo, undo. Okay, that piece is exactly where I want it now. And you might have noticed that when I'm turning the upper face with these moves, it doesn't displace the pieces that are there. That little yellow piece which was sitting here is still sitting there. Now, that's in the correct position because it will turn up like that. This one, you might think that it needs to be here to do the same. But in actual fact, it needs to be over here, one more turn around. So I now need to find a way to get it to here, or I guess initially, maybe here. And I'd like to turn the upper face to do it if I can, but if I can't, I probably won't be able to. So I'm going to move its position down, turn it onto its position, undo, undo. Now, this is a little bit of a process, as you can see, but that is now in the good position. Now, how can I get this one back to here? Okay, that's the first piece, that's the second piece. I need a third piece that I can involve. Unfortunately, it's going to be this piece initially. So I'm going to cycle this to here, just to get this one back into position. Now that's fine because that's ready to go. This one I now need to cycle back to here and I'll use this. So put that across there, that one up, undo, undo. Okay, and finally we have these 2 yellow pieces exactly where they are required to be to place into these positions. So you either need to use techniques like that to get them here and here, or else, in fact, I guess it would be this if I'm using the yellow, blue, red face. I was going to say you could go here and here would be the other option. But in any event, The reason that this now works is because what I'm going to do is a simple down, down, up, up. So a left turn of a down, first of all, removes that. Then a down puts this one over here. Then my up places that one, and my up places that one. Now that is a really key part of this process, is getting those two yellows, because those yellows, they're in now. They're where we need them to be. Now, once they're done, I now need to do the 4 remaining blue and red pieces that live here. So I'm going to do them. These yellows are not going to move out, and so I can happily just look for 3 cycles of these pieces. So for example, I can see that over on this red face, I've got a blue and a blue piece, and over on the blue face, I've got a red and red. Now what I'd like to do first is place either this one or that one, doesn't really matter. So I would just see this red piece belongs here. So clearly this red piece belongs here, which is going to be tricky to get in one sitting. What about the blue? That blue piece belongs there as well. So what I'll do first is just 3 cycle the blue, this blue up to here. I'm going to do that by turning the red face, and then I turn the yellow face, and you'll notice nothing in here touches. Undo to bring that yellow piece back, undo. Okay, so as I said, the yellow pieces are still there. I've just moved these red and blues around. I need to get that blue over to here. So what I can do is move the position up, turn the blue onto it, and undo. And of course, turning that yellow face is good. Now that's in. That then means I have a 3 cycle of the red, and the blue. So I think, where are they going? Well, this red goes around to here, this blue goes across to here, and the red comes back to here. So the piece movement is red onto blue. So I turn it like that first, and then turn the upper face, undo, undo. Now you can see that the last 2 of these pieces on each of those faces, so in other words, now the 4 pieces there are done, as are the 4 pieces on the yellow face. That's good as well. So we're in a position where we're nearly able to start actually reducing the edges. So a lot of this is just set up to go, are we ready? Now the last thing that we need to check before we start reducing the edges is, do we have our outside edges in any kind of flip? So our edge bases. Now clearly this yellow-red edge base is not flipped. These other ones aren't in place. So I would look at it and say, well, red-blue, if I turn that like that, that's fine. And the yellow-blue, if I turn that like that, that's fine. So no problem. So we've got 2 of these that are correctly oriented. And that means we are actually now ready to start reducing. However, because I want to include everything in this solve, I'm going to quickly set up for the scenario where you need to flip some edges, because that is the key part to me of this whole solve. All right, well, I'm actually coming back into something a little bit different that can happen that I have not yet explained before we do the flipping. And that is, you can actually see now these edges are flipped, but I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on these circle pieces. I've got the blue one in, and I've got this red one in. But this blue and this red need to swap. Now there's no way that I can just do 3 cycles like I was doing to get those 2 pieces to swap. So if you are at this stage and you encounter a swap of these 2 circle pieces, there's only one way around it. For that, you need to turn the yellow face 1 turn. Now that's going to knock out the yellow green and the yellow orange. So what we're going to do is put that back like we normally would on a Rubik's Cube. That is resolved, and now the yellow orange. And that is back into its position as well. Now that will have fixed that problem of the swap of edges. So what we see now is I've got the blue in place still. I've now got the red, and the blue, which now can be 3 cycled home. And so that's what I do. I'd see that the red goes there, this red goes here. So I'm going to turn this red over to here first, then turn the red face, and then undo, undo. So I thought I should include that just in case you do get a swap of these circle edges in anywhere. It could be here and here, it could be here and here, doesn't matter. The only thing to do is to turn that yellow face one turn and resolve. So here we are now. Let's have a look again. We determined that this one was correctly oriented, this one was correctly oriented, and this one was. So now I'm going to cut away and set up for the scenario where we have edges that need to be flipped. All right, well, this is the scenario where you can see now the blue-red is wrongly oriented. The red-yellow is wrongly oriented. This blue-yellow happens to be correct in terms of orientation. So I've got two edges here, two outer edges that need to be flipped. All of the rest of the circle pieces are in. Now this was the bit that I said at the start that just I could not get around in terms of what do I do, how do I deal with this. So I'm really happy with what I've come up with here. It's a fairly straightforward thing to do. And even more importantly, it does make sense. So let me show it to you on a solved puzzle. Okay, well, let's carry this out on a solved puzzle in the same place that we do it. What I'm going to do here is to flip in place the yellow-blue edge base and the yellow-red edge base. Corners are going to move, I don't care about them. And the edge arrows, they happen to be solved here, but it doesn't matter. I'm not up to worrying about them yet. So just the yellow-blue edge base and the yellow-red edge base. Well, here's what I came up with. I first turned this one turn, which essentially has flipped that yellow-red edge base. Now, at the moment, it's flipped all of the other three on that face as well, but they're going to be differently handled. So I'll flip the yellow-red edge. I'm going to take it down to the bottom. Like that has not flipped it. And then turn it along the down face, which has unflipped it. So it's actually back to normal. I'll do a front two and then an up prime, which once again flips it. And you can very clearly see that is the red-yellow edge base flipped in that position. Now, while all that was happening, the blue-yellow had been pushed around to here. When I turned this back, the blue-yellow came back. And what I now need to do is undo the moves that happened. So I'm going to undo that turn, undo that down turn, and then bring this back up to the top. And what you can see is that the edges, or the other edges, are all back where they go, and this blue-yellow has also flipped. Now the other thing that's happened is that yellow circle part is fixed, but the red circle part has come from here, the blue circle part has come from here, and this yellow part has come from here, and that means we have a 3-cycle. And the light bulb moment for me went off when I realised that if I did this once, that's what happened. If I did it twice, the yellow, red and blue circle pieces would cycle around again, and these pieces would become unflipped. But if I did it 3 times, the circle parts would cycle home and be solved, and then the outer edge bases would flip again, and they would end up being flipped. I hoped that would happen, and that's exactly what did happen. So I've carried this out once. Let me now carry it out 2 more times. There's the second time. You can see they've unflipped themselves. And now the third time. And there we have it. Those circle parts are indeed back to solved. And I have the yellow blue and the yellow red edge base flipped in position. Okay, so now that we've seen what to do, we know that in order to carry this out, we just need the 2 edges that need to be flipped up here. If they're not, I could just turn them up like that. And then I carry out this routine. So upper face turn, bring this down to the bottom, turn it to the bottom, bring it back up and return into place. And then this one comes back down to the bottom, back to the top. Well, that's one lot of this, and it's certainly flipped them, but I need to do it 3 times. There's the second, and the third time we'll get all the circle edges, which have clearly come out, back where they belong. Okay, there we go. You can see that yellow-blue is still correctly oriented, but now the yellow-red is oriented correctly and the red-blue is oriented correctly. Okay, so at this point in time, we've actually done everything we need to set up for reducing these edges. Now, the reduction now only requires 180-degree turns, and by doing that, we are sure that at the end, they're all going to be oriented correctly and they will solve into their places. That's the really important part. We can reduce them, but if they don't reduce into their places, we have problems. So this one happens to be done. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be easier, but we'll see. What I would do initially is just have a look at what I've got. I've got a yellow piece here and a red circle edge, and I note that that red could come down to there. So if I'm involving a red and a yellow, I'd probably like to involve another yellow, so I might involve this one. So I'll do 180 turns on the yellow face only. So I'm going to cycle the yellow green across to here, which will keep that done. The red down to here, which will reduce that part, and the yellow will come over to here, which will reduce that part as well. At the end of all of this, I mean, this part of it is actually so simple, it's almost a non-event. Okay, now let's have a look what we've got. We've got a blue outer and a blue circle, and a blue outer and a blue circle. So all I need to do now is get them onto the opposite faces so I can turn 180. So if I turn that up like that, that's good. This one here, well, I can flip that over. Now they're on opposite faces. You can see that's going to turn around to there, that's going to turn around to there. I don't want to disrupt here, so I'm going to put two things of the same color here, and I've found you can either do, say, two reds, or what I often do is two whites. It doesn't matter. Perhaps today I'll do two reds and do the turn, and all of the edges are now reduced. And that was like two things to do at the end of all the setup for that. So the only thing remaining now is to now place all the reduced edges into their place. So let's make sure firstly we've got all the whites back. There's a white green, there's the white red. Of course, I'm not going to turn the yellow face now because I don't need to. Let's put the red green edge wherever it is. Where's that vanished? Oh, it's over here. Okay, so we'll place that one into place. The orange blue, just basically three cycling these things around. What else can I do? The orange, I just said orange blue, but I meant orange green. Now I'll do the orange blue. Okay, let's have a look at some of the yellows. I've got, what have I got? Yellow, blue. In fact, everything appears to be in place. Yellow, blue, and yellow, green. Everything else, just having a quick check, is done. All right. Now, this is the last thing that can happen after the reduction of edges. It's not a problem in terms of the reduction. That's not an issue. It is, however, a problem in terms of placing them, because what I've got is a swap. Yellow, blue, and yellow, green. A swap of two reduced edges. Now, in order to deal with this, you remember that before we actually turned, when we had a swap of these circle parts, we turned the upper face one turn. Well, we're going to have to do exactly the same thing here to deal with this. So, turn the upper face one turn, resolve the yellow blue around to there. Now, I know that it doesn't solve there, but just trust me, it'll all come out in the wash. Resolve this piece around to there. Now, you'll see now that I've got a yellow with a yellow and a yellow with a yellow. You might be thinking, hang on a minute, by turning that yellow face one turn, haven't I just misoriented the pieces? Yeah, I have, and that's why now, for fixing them up, I'm now required to do a 90-degree turn to fix them up. Only thing is that I need to involve, there's one yellow, two yellows, I need to involve another yellow that is going to do the job. So I've got to think, where am I going to put that yellow piece? And if I'm turning here, I want probably a yellow piece to be in this region here. So I'm first of all just going to place this yellow piece onto that position. 3 cycle it over there. Now I would just check that what I want to do is actually going to work. I'm going to move this up to here, this yellow around to here, and this yellow will come back to there. That looks really good. And what's important is that you'll notice the 2 pieces that are not reduced are each going to turn 90 degrees, which means their orientation will come good again. So this one, I'm not going to end up turning that 90 degrees. This one I will, this one I will. Let's have a look. So I'm moving this up to here first. Then I'm turning this piece on. Here's the 90 degree turn for this piece. I'll bring it back and then undo that 90 degree turn. And that was the 90 degree turn for that one. So if you just want to play that through again, you'll see exactly what I mean by that. Now that has dealt with that problem of 2 swapped reduced edges. Let's have a look what I need to finally go ahead and place. I've got the yellow green, which needs to go back here. So let's do that one. And lo and behold, all of the edges are now reduced, in place, in position. We've dealt with everything that can possibly come up. So I trust you'll understand that that is a foolproof, and it's a method that will work every time as long as you follow through in that order of what needs to be done. But that is really the largest and most difficult stage of the solve of this puzzle. We are now ready to move on to the next stage. All right, and the next stage is indeed to reduce the edge arrows. So we've just spent time reducing the edge bases. Now I've got to reduce the edge arrows. Now, the actual sequence for doing this is very simple. The problem on the Saturn is getting the pieces into the position that I need them to be. So the sequence is going to be the same as for a Jupiter cube. And so for that, what I want to do is involve the white face and one of these side faces, and I need a turnable corner to perform it on. So as an example, let's say that I'll use this corner as a turnable corner. I want a piece here, here, and here before I carry out the sequence. So I would look at this. I could either start with this or start with this one. It's not a huge deal. Let's start with the blue. I want that blue to come up to a blue inner. So I need to get a blue inner piece or a blue circle piece sitting in that position. As I said, the tricky bit is how do you get it where you want it. So first thing, locate blue circle piece. I mean, there is one sitting here, which could be the one, but of course I can't turn it along the white face. That's part of the issue. So let's see if we can get it to the bottom. Like that. That's still not actually going to help. So that's going to be the wrong blue piece, because what I need is that for it to be on the bottom and to be facing that way, but I can't do that because it involves turning it around the yellow face. So let's see if we can find another one that might work. Now, is that the same one? That is the same one. There is another one up here that could do the job. So let's accept, just looking at it, even if I flip it over, it's going to land here, which is not going to be what I want. So, and this is a very common thing for Saturn. You go to do a piece and you just can't find the one that you want. So what I would then do is to say, well, I'm going to say, well, that's a yellow circle piece. I'd like to place a yellow outer piece here if I could. And there is one here, but it's already reduced. So I'm looking for an unreduced yellow outer piece, and it's got to end up pointing downwards. So this is an unreduced yellow outer, but if I turn it around, it'll be pointing upwards. Let's see if we can find another one. There's one here. And I don't think that's going to work because of the same issue, but let's flip it around anyway. Yeah, actually that will work. I can now turn that into here using up, up, down, down, like that. So as long as I keep this corner turnable, that's what matters. Okay, so I've got a yellow outer going to a yellow inner. Now I say that's a red outer. I'd like a red inner here, and the piece needs to be pointing in that direction. Now, it may not be possible to do. So as long as I have a piece that's pointing in the correct direction, which is unreduced, I'm happy. So this might be all I can get, but I will try and get a red circle piece sitting here. If I can find it. There is one. There's one up here, so let's see what happens if I put that there and that there temporarily. I think that's going to do the job nicely. Just cycle that through. Okay, good. So, as I said, important that you get a red circle piece, but it must point that way so that when we turn it up to the top, it points this way and retains the turnable corner. Okay, so now we've got yellow outer going to yellow inner, red outer going to red inner, so both of them will reduce. We're going to have an orange outer going to the blue inner. That will remain unreduced and start for the next one. That's the hard part. The easy part is now carrying it out. So we turn the corner. We then bring this piece up to there by doing the double face turns. We then unturn the corner and undo the double face turns. Let's have a look. The yellow is reduced, the red is reduced, that orange is ready to go for the next one. So I might even find it easier to say, in fact, in this case, could I do that? No, I could turn that up like that and say that's a blue inner. I'd like a blue outer here. Let's see if I can get one there. There's a blue outer here, so I can go up, up, down, down. Blue outer to blue inner. Orange outer, I need an orange inner here. That's great, but it's facing the wrong way. It needs to be facing this way. I've got to try and find another orange inner piece somewhere. There's one over here. Not sure whether that's going to do the job. No, it's not. Is there another one? Not that I can easily see. So instead of an orange inner, I would say, well, this is a white inner. What if I had a white outer piece sitting here? Is that possible? There's a white outer. Oh, I can't turn the yellow face. There we go. That is that going to be a good piece? No, it's not, because it's on the wrong side of the piece. So let's abandon that. That's not any good. That one is the one I'm using. So I can't even find that either. So this is where I say, okay, at this point, I'll just put anything there which is going to be useful. So let's find something that will be useful if I can. I want that, and I want, no, this one won't work. Can actually get that by turning this corner. I can get this one over to here, and it should do the job. Did that do the job? No, it did not. That is highly annoying. What about that one? Because it's facing the wrong way, that's what I'm thinking. That one there, in fact, that one's going to be the same issue. Just looking at this piece here, it's going to be the same issue. So that's no good. Let's keep trying to get another one. This one is okay to put there, but the orange is going to be on the bottom and it's reduced, and I don't really want to do that. Let's try this one, just make sure I haven't accidentally got that wrong. Okay, I've got a piece that is the right direction, so that's good. I was looking for an orange inner, which I don't have, and I was looking for a white outer, which I also don't have, but I've got something there that'll at least get the blue reduced, and often that's all you can do, one piece at a time. So that's done. I can sort of move, if you like, move this up and start again. I've got a white inner. Can I get a white outer there? If I could turn this around to there, I could. Now that is a turnable corner still. That's going to be no good at all. Oh no, that won't work. Where's the other white outer piece? There's one here. That's going to point that way. No, I don't think that'll work either. And this, again, this is extremely common with Saturn, is just finding pieces. It will absolutely work. You will get the job done, but it can take time to figure out what's where. Again, I would probably say for now, well, I can't even find a white outer. What about if I can say, can I find a red inner that I can put down here to get this one done? Maybe that's easier. There's a red inner here, but it's the wrong side. There's a red inner up here. Maybe that is something that's useful. And I think that is definitely useful. So let's put that down the bottom. Good, that's on the bottom and it's facing the correct direction. And then I'd say, right, green outer, can I put a green inner in that position for my third piece? There's a green inner, but it is the wrong side. There's a green inner which may work. Is that going to work? No, I don't think it will. It's going to end up pointing downwards anyway. However, the white outer might work. Let's just try it. Ah, look at that, it was there. So white outer to white inner, red outer to red inner, and the green outer will come back to the orange. As I said, carrying out the sequence is the easiest part of the lot. Okay, what's the next bit? And this may well be the last one on this side, by the way, because I'm running out of pieces to find. So that's an orange inner. I must have an orange outer somewhere, I'm presuming. That needs doing. There's an orange outer. So let's... And looks like that's the wrong side. So that's no good. And it's facing the wrong direction. And I can't flip it. That's the other thing. Because these edge bases, I now can't flip them at all. So I need to work with what I've got. Do I have another orange inner somewhere? Oh, sorry, an orange outer. I actually don't, not that I can see. So again, I have to abandon that for a little bit and say, what about, there's a green outer, can I get a green inner down here? Well, that piece actually will work quite nicely. So I need to move that down to there. That's ready. Now, green, orange, orange, green. Notice that they are matching colours. So I'm now going to have to go, this piece must be an orange, orange. And that way the orange outer will come up to the orange inner and that will complete them. So I now need an orange reduced piece in that position. That is pointing in the correct direction. Is that the one? That's not the one. How about this one? That's also not the one, because it's going to be pointing in the wrong direction. Man, I've only got one left. Where is it? If that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have none left. Okay. So what do? Well, I try the other colour. I try and get a green that will go there. A reduced green. Let's see what I can muster here. Oh, I think we're on a winner. Yes, got a turnable corner. Now, because I've had to use a green piece, I now have to reverse the direction. So I'm going to have to say green outer to green inner. That's fine. Green outer to green inner. That's fine. Orange outer up to orange inner. So I need the piece movement to be the opposite to what's happened. And so to accomplish that, I do the face turns first. So I've done that. Then I do the corner turn and I undo the face turns, and I can undo the corner turns if I want. That's done. In fact, let's undo that. Just to put everything back. That's done, that's done, that's done. Now I suspect, as I said, that's the last of the ones on this side. And now I need to jump over here, keep the same turnable corner and come up this way. So you can see, for example, I've got a white outer coming to a white inner. So if I wanted, I could say, well, there's an orange outer. Can I put an orange inner in this position? if there actually happens to be one. There's one there, which I reckon is going to do the job. So don't want to do that. Let's get that around there. Now that is an orange inner, but it's clearly facing the wrong way and I can't flip it. Do I have another orange inner? Not that I can see. So instead of putting an orange inner down here, I would then say, what if I put a red outer to come up to this one? A red outer edge. Okay, this is perfect. I just need to get it across to there and flipped without involving this piece here. So temporarily, I'm going to just turn them up to the top. Now I can flip. And now I can turn them back down. So I've now got white going to white, orange going to blue, and the red coming up to the red. So the first thing is the piece direction is different. The second thing, I'm using this face and this corner turning like this. So piece direction coming down, face turns first. Face turns are done, turn this up, undo face turns. And return corner. You see that's done, that needs to be done. So what I can do now is put this up the top. Just, is it that easy? Because it's probably going to unturn the corner. It's probably not that big a deal because I can replace that. So if I've got a blue inner, you'll notice there's a blue outer there. So what I would do is put something here to make this turnable. Like that one there. And now I've got orange to orange, blue to something. So this one is as good as any because that will come up to reduce here. So I'm ready to go for that one. Okay, which gives me that one for my next starting one. Can I just turn it around? Yes, I can. Okay. So again, I'll see if I can put a green outer in this position. And you'll notice that I'm running out of pieces because I'm getting all done. Even though it appears to be taking such a long time, that green outer looks good. So I would just 3 cycle that around. Like that, that's ready. Blue outer, can I get a blue inner here? There's a blue inner, which is probably the correct one. So if I turn that, then again, maybe it's not. It's not because I can't flip that piece. Is there another blue inner? I'm guessing no, there's not. So instead of a blue inner, I would say, can I get a red outer to reduce to that piece? The answer may well be no. And if that is the case, and the answer is no, I have to put anything here that will enable me to carry out the sequence. And that piece is as good as any, just to get that under there. So again, I've got to flip that under. I'll just temporarily move these out of the way. And was that the red outer up there that I was searching for? I don't know. Looks like it actually probably was. In which case, I wonder if I can slightly change things here. And it'll come out in the end. I won't try and complicate things too much. So green to green, blue to yellow, white to here. Maybe I should. Having said that, is that actually the correct red outer? It looks like it probably is. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, I'm going to cycle it to here. Yeah, what were those setups that I did? That may be better. let's have a look. Oh, maybe not. Red outer is there. Let's just get these others back again. They've vanished somewhere, but I know they're here. Green outer and blue. Okay, I don't think that's the correct one. That's going to be one of them. What happened to the other piece? Possibly that. Maybe I shouldn't have complicated things. Okay, at this point, what I would do, having just got in a little bit of, not a muddle, but just tried to get that third piece in there, what I would probably do would be leave that one there, get something in here that makes it turnable, like this one. Oh, not like that one at all. Like this one. Okay. Oh, here's the problem, is that the green center, you probably noticed that, the green center is oriented wrongly. Let's turn it correctly so that, okay, so apologies for this. I probably should have stuck with not complicating things. I'm going to put that back in there now. So that part's good, and now I'm going to put something in here which will enable, so it's pointing downwards. That will do for now. Now what I suspect is that that is actually the other piece that I was interested in. So I will turn the position, turn that down, undo, undo. Let's see where we're at. I've got a green outer to a green inner. I've got a blue outer to a blue inner and a red outer to a red inner. So after all that, it is exactly what I want, and it's going to do 3 pieces, which is kind of good. And again, welcome to Saturn, and sometimes stuff like that does happen. Let's take care of this now before I lose it. Okay, let's see where we're at. Again, I reckon we're very close to the last one, if that wasn't the last one. I don't think it was the last one, because we've got a white, yellow here, and we've got a yellow, white here. So I think these will be the last lots. So let's get, first of all, that white, or the yellow, white over to there. Let's get the other one there. Let's put this up to there first of all. So that's in position. This one over to here, except that probably is going to end up turning the wrong way. So I'm going to put it down to here, and I'll see if that does the job. Yes, it does. Lovely. That's oriented. That's okay. I've got that in position. I've got that in position. I now need either a yellow or a white in this position, facing the correct way, facing downwards. That's the only thing that I need to find now, yellow or a white. There's a white there. Is that going to be, I think that will be the one. That's good. There we go. But it's not turnable because I should have done a 3 cycle. Let's replace that with something facing the other way. Now it is turnable. So let's find out what's going on. We're going to have the white going to there, the white outer going to there, the yellow outer coming to here. So it is the standard piece movement where I turn the corner first, and everything's in readiness. So let's do the last one. Undo that corner turn. And my goodness, all of the edge arrows have been reduced. And I did say at the start, the sequence itself is not tricky. It's getting the pieces into the right position. But that is probably the last really hard part of Saturn. So I feel like we're on the home stretch now. The next thing that I'm going to do is solve the triangles. Now to solve the triangles, I need to have turnable corners, and that means placing, for the final time, the edge bases. You'll notice most of these have come out. That's okay. We haven't turned the white or the yellow faces, so they will all go back into position correctly. So I'll just orient that and place the white blue. Where's the white red? Over here. The white orange, let's get that. Oh, that's actually the white green. So if I move that down, I can firstly do that for the white orange, and I've got to get the white green over to that position. So I turn its position down. In fact, that is now properly oriented. So turn the position down, put the white green on, undo, undo, and just looking, all those whites are done. Good. Let's do 3 of the middle layer edges. Here's a red. Oh, I can't turn the yellow face, of course. We'll do the same 3 that I did before. Do the orange, green next, and the green red is another one, and that's sitting over here, so I can cycle that over. Now some yellows. Remember, there's my last my fourth edge. So again, I'd like to get yellow orange and yellow green. Perhaps if I do the yellow green first, it'll bring me the yellow orange. Notice that all these pieces are just going straight in. They're not orienting wrongly because we took care of that earlier. Okay, the yellow orange belongs here. So 3 cycle that, put it up. That's looking great. So is everything else. Okay, so all the edges are back. Remember, they're not going to move now. The purpose of that was to do the triangles. Now I can't turn any triangles on the yellow or white face, so I need to use the other faces. So I would look for a yellow here and say, well, I want to put that there, so I will cycle green to yellow to red, which means I've got to move that out of position, turn the yellow triangle position on, undo, undo, and that yellow is in. There's another yellow down here on the white face. Well, I can bring it to the orange face by solving the white triangle. In fact, what I probably would do is actually just turn that off and get the yellow done now. Okay, now the white, I can just turn that up like that. The other white's done. Good. I now start working my way through the middle layers. None of them are done, so okay. Let's do green first. There's the other green that's over there, so I'll bring it to the orange face. And now I can cycle it to the green face. Okay, that orange is done. There's an orange here. And just the reds and the blues. And as I said, it's really quick and simple. If the corners turn. Last blue. And there we go, we're done. And all the edge bases are where they should be. Okay, the solving of the edge arrows. Well, this is actually going to be a very similar sequence to what we've done before. We just want to make sure that we only turn the middle layer faces. We don't want to turn the yellow or the white faces as we do it. It is quite simple though. So let's have a look. I've got, if I look at the yellow, it's not a good one to begin with. I want to find one that's useful. White, green. I might just sacrifice this red green here, because what I like to do is get some whites and yellows done first. So I'm going to involve the white green going up to here. So my piece movement, there'll be 2 pieces across a face and one that turns on a corner. So I'd actually like white blue to go to there, red green to go to there, and white green to come to there. That's really the plan. So if that's the case, the white blue goes to here first. So I turn the corner. I then turn faces to get the white green piece over to here. it's done. I undo the corner turn and look, the white green's gone up into position, and then undo the face turns. That's it, that's the whole thing. Let's have a look at the white blue. Now the white blue's got to go to that position. So what I would do, turn the position down first. Now bring the white blue piece to here. And I'll do that by 3 cycling this to here, this to here, and the white blue back over to here. Now I can turn that, undo the corner turn to put it in position, and undo the face turns. Okay, that's 3 of, is that 3 or 2 of the whites done? Okay. Maybe I'll have a look at the white red. Is that a sensible one? That'll work. White red can come to here and then up there. So I want to turn the position down, bring the white red over to here. Turn the corner back and turn the faces back. Okay, so that's 3 whites. Let's have a look at some yellows. That's actually not a bad idea for a little setup here. So the yellow-green, I can just turn that orange face to set it up. You can see 1, 2 across the face plus the position of the yellow-green. So what I can do is go white-orange to yellow-green to yellow-red, like that. So I'm turning that to there across the face first. So I do my face turns first. Then I do my corner turn with my 3rd piece, then undo everything. Undo that one. Now I did have that set up, so when I turn that back, everything looks good again. That yellow-green has gone into position. Yellow-red, almost identical here. So I turn the corner down. I want to now put the yellow-red over there. Turn the corner back up and finish this off. How are we going? Let's do one more yellow at least. Yellow blue to go to there. So again, I can cycle those 3. There's always a face that's somehow not quite right. What am I doing now? I think I'm bringing this back to here. And then undoing that corner turn. Good. So that's 3 yellows and 3 whites. We've got a few in the middle. Let's see what we can do now. Got yellow-orange and orange-blue, which is swapping, and the blue-red and the white-orange, which is swapping. So first thing, I can take care of the white-orange. So this to here, and this down to where I want it. Corner turn first, then bring the white orange to there. Undo corner turn, undo face turns. And that will leave us the last 3 cycle. Now this is a little bit of a dodgy one because it's not easy. I've got the corner there, but I really need a piece here. So what I can do is just those 2 face turns to set up another piece there. So I think, well, the orange blue's got to go here. So it's red blue to there, orange yellow to here. So I'm turning across a face first. Then the corner turn, and then undo. Undo corner turns. Now undo those setup turns, and what we'll see is that all of those edge arrows have now been successfully placed. Whew. We're just about at the finish line. The last stage here is to solve the corners, and I will use the corner piece series to do this. I guess I'm assuming that if you attempt Crazy Unicorn Saturn, you know the corner piece series or something similar to place corners. I'll just start with the blue, white, red across there. Next I can do this yellow, green, orange. Yellow, blue, red. Nothing really obvious here. How about I'll do a setup. Okay, then I've got these three. Where are we at? 4 to go, I think. Okay, white, green, orange down to there, and then this will be the third piece. That actually I think will place. And I should say, you'll note that I haven't been concerned with which faces I'm turning because they're corners, they're not associated with the circles, so it doesn't matter. Now, let's have a look what we've got here. We've got 2 corners to twist. That one's got to go anti-clockwise, that one's got to go clockwise. So in this case, we've actually ended up with just 2 corners to twist and we're done. However, it is possible to get a single twisted corner, so I'd like to set up for that now. Okay, well here we have it's not even really dreaded, it's just a single twisted corner. It's a bit annoying at the end of a long solve like a Saturn, but it's pretty straightforward to fix. So it doesn't matter if it's on a turnable corner or a non-turnable corner, it's irrelevant. We look at it and I guess it's slightly easier if it's on a turnable corner because what we do is simply turn it so that it's correct. If it was on here, we would turn another corner so that we had 2 corners that needed to be turned in the opposite direction. It's the only difference. So that has fixed the single twisted corner. Now you'll notice that the triangles have come out and the edge arrows have come out. So I now need to replace them. So first thing I'll do is get the white one back in. Well, I'm not happy with this, not at the end. White's back in and then get the green. Okay, so the triangles are all done. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces that I need to replace, and I need to do it across faces like this. I can't turn the white face. So I'd go red, green to green, white, and then use red, blue as a third piece here. That's taking care of 2 of them. And that leaves the last 3. Now, you can see that none of them are actually on the face. So what we need to do is do a couple of corner turns. Put the white, red there, which has to go to the white, green. Turn that corner like that. So we've got white, red to white, green to red, yellow. Undo corner turn. Okay, well we had 2 setups, so I'll undo that one, I'll undo that one. Now what you'll notice is that having had a single twisted corner, we fixed it. We've now got this one that has to go anti-clockwise and this one that has to go clockwise. So we finally can just orient them using a pretty standard corner twister. So that's got to go that way, so I'm going to do 2 up, up, down, downs. Bring the other one in and undo. There we go. That last little bit's the easiest bit of the whole lot, really. Well, that is indeed the Crazy Unicorn Saturn. And it's solved, and I do hope you, I guess, well, not that I hope you believe, but I hope you can see that it is a really challenging cube, but it's also a fun cube. It's a good one to have. It is solved, and I thank you for watching.